So, when you're dealing with microservices and how they talk to each other, it's like a bunch of kids playing pass the parcel. You never know what's going to happen next.
But don't you think it depends on the pattern? Like, if they use synchronous calls, isn't that more predictable?
True, but even then, there's still a chance something might go wrong. Remember last year when we had that API call timing out every third time? That was a real headache to track down.
Yeah, I remember. It took us forever to figure out it was due to network latency.
Exactly. And with asynchronous calls, it gets even trickier because now you have to deal with callbacks and event listeners. It's like trying to catch butterflies in a storm.
That sounds chaotic. How do you handle an integration testing in such cases?
Well, first off, mocking services is crucial. Otherwise, your tests become unreliable because they depend on external systems behaving exactly as expected. Have you ever tried setting up mocks for multiple dependent services? It's like building a house of cards around a tornado.
I can imagine. Doesn't that also mean you need a robust setup for managing those mocks during testing?
Absolutely. And then there's the whole issue of state management across services. If one service changes its state and another doesn't pick up on it right away, well, let's just say it's not pretty.
Right. So coordination and consistency checks must be key parts of the test strategy.
Definitely. And don't forget about transactional boundaries, ensuring that all related operations complete successfully, or roll back together if anything fails along the way. It's critical for maintaining data integrity across services.
Makes sense. So handling these complexities requires both careful design and thorough testing strategies.
Exactly. And don't overlook the importance of logging and monitoring throughout the process too. Without good visibility into what's happening at runtime, debugging issues becomes a nightmare. Speaking of which, have you thought about the tools we use for automating these integration tests? It's a whole different beast.
Yeah, definitely. There are so many options out there. How do you decide which one to use?
Well, it really depends on the specific needs of your project. For example, if you're working in a cloud-native environment, Kubernetes might play a big role in how you set up and run your tests.
True, especially with dynamic environments like that. What about frameworks? Do you prefer something like Spring Cloud Contract or Pack?
Both are great choices, depending on what you need. Spring Cloud Contract is handy if you're already deep into the Spring ecosystem. But Pact is more language agnostic and can be useful if your services are written in different languages.
That makes sense. I've heard Pact works well for inter-service contracts too.
Absolutely. And don't forget about CE/CD integration. Tools like Jenkins or GitLab C can help automate the entire testing pipeline, making sure every change triggers relevant tests automatically.
Right. Automation is key to keeping things efficient and reliable.
Exactly. And let's not forget about observability tools like Prometheus or Grafana. They can provide insights into how your tests are performing over time and help identify bottlenecks.
Observability is crucial indeed. It helps in understanding the system behavior under various conditions.
Definitely. So when choosing tools, it's important to consider not just the immediate benefits, but also long-term maintainability and scalability of your testing framework.
Agreed. Balancing current needs with future growth is key.
Absolutely. And staying flexible is important as well. The tech landscape changes so fast. What works today might need an update tomorrow.
Very true. Keeping up with new developments while ensuring stability seems challenging yet necessary.
Indeed. It's all about finding the right balance between flexibility and reliability in your toolset. Speaking of which, let's talk about isolating microservices during integration testing. Have you ever struggled with ensuring that one service doesn't interfere with another?
Yeah, definitely. It's crucial for reliable tests, but it can get tricky.
Absolutely. One effective strategy is using separate environments for each service. That way, changes in one don't affect the others.
That makes sense. Like having dedicated test environments for each microservice.
Exactly. Another approach is to use service virtualization or mocking frameworks. This allows you to simulate the behavior of external dependencies without actually calling them.
Mocking can be really powerful, especially when dealing with third-party services that might be unreliable.
True. 1. And don't forget about dependency injection. By injecting mocked versions of dependencies into your services during tests, you can control the inputs and outputs precisely.
Dependency injection does add a layer of control and predictability.
Definitely. Also, using containers like Docker can help isolate services by running each one in its own container with predefined configurations.
Containers are great for maintaining consistent environments across different stages of development and testing.
Exactly. And let's not overlook the importance of versioning APIs and contracts between services. This ensures that changes in one service don't break compatibility with others until they're ready to be updated.
Versioning is key to managing backward compatibility and avoiding unexpected failures during tests.
Absolutely. So combining isolated environments, mocking frameworks, dependency injection, and proper API versioning can significantly enhance the reliability of your integration tests.
It sounds like a comprehensive approach to ensure that each microservice behaves as expected independently before integrating them.
Speaking of isolation, let's dive into mocking external dependencies. How do you handle mocking in your tests?
I find it really helpful, but it can get complex when there are multiple dependencies.
Absolutely. The key is to choose the right mocking framework that fits your stack. For example, if you're working with Java, Mockito is quite popular.
Yes, Mockito is great for unit tests, but what about integration tests?
Good point. For integration tests, you might want something like WireMock or Mountebank. These allow you to mock HTTP-based services and simulate various responses.
Wiremark sounds interesting. Have you used it before? Yeah, Wiremark is fantastic for simulating RESTful services. You can define expectations and stubs easily, which helps in controlling the behavior of external services during tests. That would definitely make testing more predictable and less error-prone.
Exactly. Another advantage is that it lets you test failure scenarios too. You can simulate timeouts or errors to see how your service handles them.
Simulating failures is crucial for robustness.
Definitely. And don't forget about state management when mocking. Make sure the mocked responses reflect the actual states that your service expects to interact with.
State management can be tricky but essential for realistic testing.
True. Also, consider using a centralized configuration for your mocks so that everyone on the team uses consistent setups. This avoids discrepancies and makes it easier to manage over time.
Centralized config would help keep things organized and consistent across the team.
Absolutely. And lastly, document your mocks clearly. It helps new team members understand what's being simulated and why.
Documenting is always a good practice to avoid confusion later on.